So I'm here with Mark Hall from Casting Crowns. How you doing, Mark?
Good, man. How about you?
I'm doing really well, man.
Good.
So great to have you here, man, on the show. And
Thanks for having me.
yeah, absolutely. So you do Casting Crowns. I think everybody knows you as a songwriter and the lead singer for Casting Crowns, but it sounds like you also are very invested in your local church.
Oh, yeah,
Can you
man.
talk about that a little bit?
Well, I've been a youth pastor half my life before Crowns was a band. And in a small church, when you're the youth pastor, you're probably the worship leader. You know, those two usually come together.
Do it all.
And that's where it started for me. And even now, we're home Sunday through Wednesday. So I'm in the office through the week, and we lead worship every Sunday morning.
Yeah. That's impressive, man, how you still can maintain a busy career in music, but also stay invested in the local church. How do you balance that?
You just have very good people around you. So
Yeah.
my wife runs Crowns, and I just keep my head in the youth group. And even in the youth group, I got smarter people there too.
Yep.
So you surround yourself with really good people, and you can do stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. Mark, what I've loved about your songs over the years is there's a sense of like conviction that comes over you as you listen to Casting Crowns songs. It's almost like you really try to get to the heart of the matter in the Christian life and a walk with Jesus.
Yeah.
And I just wonder if you could just kind of talk about that process for you, like where that started for you as a songwriter, where you're like, hey, let's just get real, and like where that passion for songwriting came from with Casting Crowns.
You know, for me, I didn't grow up around Christian music. Didn't really know what it was till I was probably 20. Wasn't in the Word for myself very much. I'm dyslexic and ADD, so I'm the LD kid. And then going to church, the first thing I notice is everybody's got a book. I'm like, great, you know. So I never really learned how to feed myself as a believer. And it was Christian music bumping into my life every once in a while, listening to some guy talk about his failure, and I just thought, wow, can we talk about that?
Yeah.
And it seemed like the first time I ever heard anybody be really, and that's not true, but I feel like no one was really honest at church. Everybody just acted like they had it together. Mm-hmm. And it felt like the real people were singing the songs. And I just wanted to know more about them.
Yeah.
And even as a young believer, 19, 20, hearing Stephen Curtis Chapman just be real about his faith and his weakness and his fear. And I just felt like that's what the world needs to hear.
Yeah.
It would have helped me so much if we could have just got to it. Mm-hmm. And then as a young youth pastor, who am I to think you're going to listen to me longer than 4 minutes anyway?
Yeah.
So if I've only got your attention for 4 minutes, we really need to get something that matters.
Yeah.
And I think as long as I am transparent and I can show you that I'm an even bigger dork than you are, that's the key. Because you don't just walk in to start hitting people with truth.
Yeah.
You first show that you're a train wreck.
Wow.
Then you say, now that we know where we are, we really need to talk about this.
Yeah.
And people can handle truth and love.
Yep.
I don't like angry Christians.
Yep.
But when somebody's broken and they're saying, look, you're going off a cliff.
Yeah.
It might not be popular to tell you this, but let me just tell you what it looks like at the bottom of that cliff. That's what the world needs to hear. At the same time, you got, in the New Testament, you got Barnabas, who's like, hey, he's okay. He's a friend. He's going to be okay. And then you got people like Peter that said, well, you know what you did? You killed Jesus, the author of life. You killed him.
Right.
John the Baptist, you got everybody. So everybody doesn't need to write songs like I do. That's just the way they come out for me.
Yep.
That was a really long answer. But
no, it's a good answer.
I don't think everyone needs to start writing hard-hitting songs. I think you write honestly with no intention other than pointing to God with your gifts.
Yep.
And however that comes out is the way it needs to come out.
Yeah. Mark, I know you went through some health challenges a number of years ago. Mm-hmm. Where are you at now in that journey, and how has that sort of affected what you do in ministry? Well,
4 years ago was cancer, and then I had some other surgery after that with hernias and digestion and reflux and all of that. And then January I had vocal surgery. And that was probably the shakiest thing for me, not being able to speak for a month and dealing with that. And I think,
it's a big part of what you do, using your voice.
Yes, yes. So I can talk pretty spiritual, but I don't pray very spiritual. I'm like, okay, God, things might be going really heavy right now in Korea, but I need you to know this is happening right now. So that really kind of checked my oil a little bit, and just saying like, God, you got to help me, and think that's my health moments are when God really refocuses me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a good place in health right now. I just finished a tour, and
Yep.
voice is getting stronger.
Yep.
My kidney that I have left is working, so everything's going
Praise
okay.
God.
So, yeah.
Mark, what song for you over the years has surprised you the most? Casting Crowns song.
Casting Crowns song.
Yeah.
Surprised me?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Like
Surprised.
that took you by surprise from maybe you didn't have high expectations for it and it just took off.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's hard to ask a songwriter what their favorite song is
I know it.
because you like all of them to some
I
degree.
know it.
You know what I mean?
Well, the song Only Jesus at the last minute turned into 2 songs. I've had that come several times because I have so much to say and I can't get it all in. And usually whoever I'm co-writing with is like, look, dude, you can't have 5 verses. What are you going to do, you know?
Simplify.
And the idea of putting Jesus first came from John the Baptist and the fact that he pointed to Jesus with everything he did. And when they asked him who he was, he said, man, I'm just a voice. I'm nobody.
Yeah.
That was a verse in that song, and Matthew West and I write together a lot. And I said, well, what if we just do something different with that? And there's a song on the new record called Nobody that really came out of nowhere. It was just going to be a fun, goofy song to do somewhere on the record, and ended up having a lot more message than we even thought it would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it, man. So back home when you're with your youth group, how did the kids in your youth group treat you? They're like, oh, it's Mark Hall from Casting Crowns.
Sometimes I wish they would.
Where's the respect,
they're
you know?
a very humbling crowd. You know, it doesn't matter how many people are cheering on the road. When you get home, they're like, "Oh, hey, what's up?"
Right.
If they say that. So it's good to be planted into a church where nobody's impressed and everybody just, you know,
It's good.
and it's not as bad as I'm saying, but at the same time, they don't. My teenagers do not remember Casting Crowns not being at that church.
Yeah.
We've been there 18 years.
Wow.
So it's a very
Love that.
normal thing for them, and if anything, it probably gives them an idea of the whole idea of celebrity, and that there's really no such thing. Once you meet people, they're just people.
Yeah.
So I think that's been good for them.
That's good.
Yeah.
Mark, one more question. You know, you have an audience here of thousands of worship leaders around the world. If you were in the same room with them, looking at them in the eye, what's kind of one piece of guidance or challenge that you'd offer to them?
I would say that there are 2 different versions of me when I'm leading worship. There's the version of me that is drawing from Jesus, and I'm spending time on the Word, and I'm close to Him. When I get to my people on Sunday morning, I'm full. I'm okay.
Yeah.
I can love you right where you are. You don't have to sing my song with me. You can look at your watch. You can play with your phone. You don't have to go crazy on. I know this song changed my life at 3 a.m. on the drive, but it might not change yours today. But I'm okay with that. I can lead you as a shepherd. But there's the other version of me that's kind of coasting, and Jesus isn't really the well for me that day. And when He hasn't been what I need to, I haven't let Him fill me. Then when I get to people, y'all better love me.
Yeah.
Y'all better love this song. I worked really hard on this song, and I've seen many a worship leader go dark on the stage because the crowd didn't validate us
So
when
good.
it really wasn't ever about us.
Yep.
And that's not preaching. I've been on both sides of it.
Yeah.
As worship leaders, we're standing on the most dangerous place in the church. We're standing right between God and His people, and we are guiding them as they're learning how to pray. And we have really got to be in a good spot to where we're ready for them to just live where they are. They just walked out of a tornado and their family and their car and their job into this building. I need to be able to love them where they are.
Yeah.
And that's not something you can talk yourself into. That's got to be you and Jesus alone. Yeah.
It's like what John the Baptist said, you know, He must increase.
Yeah, man.
I must decrease.
Yeah, dude.
So good, man. Mark, thanks so much for your time today, man, and for what you've done over the years just to encourage worship leaders and the local church, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks, man.
Cool.